The ears of corn in Indiana have heard whispers of something strange, an event so haunting it has to break free from the confines of its field to the city of South Bend. Blood in the Cornfields and Crude Cinema present Cult of Blood! Join us for the first ever Midwest screening of Cult of Blood by director and writer Robbie Lopez, starring Felisa Rose of Sleepaway Camp, Michael St. Michael from The Greasy Strangler, and Mikael Matson from Born to Raise Hell. A special performance by the legendary South Bend punk band Leatherface will be your introduction to the initiation of the century, followed by a hell-raising short film by David Boyer, Nap Time, Dearie, and a showcase of trailers for Tim Wolak's latest films Beware of Clowns and Princess Spooky. Mark your calendars, cellar dwellers, for Friday, September 27th at Lang Lab in South Bend, Indiana. The doors to hell open at 7 p.m., but the show of a lifetime begins at 8 p.m. sharp. With your horror hosts, Marc and Ivy, to welcome you. Don't miss your chance to be initiated into the Cult of Blood!
Welcome in, cellar dwellers. I am Mark.
I'm Ivy.
And we are
Blood in the Cornfields.
Hey!
A little something new.
Pulled it off.
We did good. Cheers to that.
That's right. Oh, awesome. So, a lot going on with us, especially coming up here pretty quickly. So we've got a lot of, things new in horror, especially for local events and different things like that. Ivy, if you want to give us a rundown of some things kind of going on.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on as far as local events. We, of course, got our event at the time of this airing. It will be Friday.
Yes.
So,
the 27th at
come
Lang
on
Lab.
out to Lang Lab. It'll be a lot of fun. Please come out. If you didn't listen to the intro that our, actually today's guest, our ghost host, did for us, so you'll get a little bit of that later, but I just want to make sure that you guys knew about it. Please come out to it. Come support us. This is our first time.
Yes, first
I'm
event.
genuinely stressing. I don't know how you are.
I try not to play it off because I know you're super stressed, and if I am too, it just does us no good. When you put on your first event, of course you're like, fuck me, dude. I don't know if anyone's going to show up.
Right.
But I have all the details worked out. Hopefully it's going to run smoothly, but it's going to be a really cool night. We're going to have some shorts, we're going to have previews, we're going to have a band, and then we're going to have Cult of Bloods being screened.
By Robbie Lopez, our guest from last week, who did a great job, and we appreciate him so much, and we're so excited to have him.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to kind of take the mic back real quick.
Go for it.
So my 100 subscribers on YouTube, I've kind of talked about it and then fucking forgot and just said, whatever. So I am putting together a little gift package, a little cool thing of some shit I have, some new stuff, not used, but just stuff that I have collected over the years.
And maybe some stuff from Karma might be thrown in there. So I've collected
stuff with this in mind. I've been doing it for about a year now, so I have like a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, details are... once we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to take like a week or two because you have to make your profile available to be seen on YouTube in order for us to be able to select you in the drawing. So once we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to choose from those 100 subscribers to see who gets a little package. And then I'll reach out to you because I might be doing like a shirt and some other stuff. Maybe preference-wise, something that's your favorite. So a little kind of thank you for our listeners to, kind of being with us through thick and thin.
Yeah, so put your hat in the ring.
Yeah, please do.
As far as other events that we have going on, or at least maybe we might not necessarily be there, but we'll try. We have a metal show, actually 2 now, at Ignition.
Okay.
This new one I just heard about. It's Friday, October 18th. I am not familiar with too many of these bands. They seem pretty new. One of them it's called Hail the Horror Tour. It's called, the bands are called Fleshbore, Burned in Effigy, Severed Head Shop, and Implicator.
Okay.
are the ones showing up on the 18th. We already announced last time the October 26th one, which have some, latest and greatest people. But that also looks pretty cool as well. That's the 26th, that one in particular. That one's going to feature Pharaoh Hound, Seventh Crown, and Ruthless Hustle, which they're no stranger to the metal scene, that's for sure. So definitely support local. Go to Ignition Garage. Hopefully we might be there. We're going to see if we can't, maybe set up a little booth or something. But
that's one of the fucking many things I've got to follow up on. So,
But we will for sure have a booth at Fright Night.
Yes, Fright Night. So it's going to be, in Kendallville?
Yes,
I don't even remember now.
Okay.
Downtown, yes. So, I will be there. Don't know in what capacity, Blood in the Cornfields-ish. I'm probably going to have a couple things, and y'all can come up talk to me, definitely. But my girlfriend is actually going to be vending some really cool crocheted horror figures. Mm-hmm. She's got some really cool shit. She's really talented. Stuff for the kids, too.
Yes, it's a family event. It really is. And it looks like it's taking place on October 12th.
October 12th, yep. And it's my understanding we'll just be right downtown, Kendallville, right in the street. So I think they're shutting the roads down and, so it should be a fun event, definitely. I
recently talked to the people at Karma. They might be there. They unfortunately won't be able to be at our event on Friday. They're very understaffed, and we completely understand. But I know they had potentially talked about it might be a possibility that might be at Fright Night, but we'll see. Yep.
And Arkham City Oddities is sponsoring it. Cool shop. Really cool shop.
They really are.
Went in there, I bought quite a bit of stuff from them. So, it's pretty sweet. So looking forward to that. Mm-hmm.
Now, this is an event that we are holding, but we hope to work with them at some point. Mm-hmm. The Distress Dolls have a event. They're a burlesque troupe. They have an event on October 5th at Lang Lab. It's called Night at the Art Museum. So that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it intrigued me because I'm like, what is this about? So I know that they have pre-sale, regular sale, and VIP options.
Yes.
I think it's 15, 20, and 30 for prices.
Yeah, I would definitely.
But I think so.
Look at their Instagram, check them out, and their Facebook, because they usually have prices and tickets on there. And I definitely look at them and see, what exactly they have to offer. And, it's always good to book ahead of time. They always put on good shows.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Other news in horror.
So I guess we'll start with the shit I love. So physical media. Longlegs and In a Violent Nature are coming out. So they will be out by the time this airs. Mm-hmm. Totally excited for both of those. Great movies. I'm going to be owning those. For me, that's just my rating system is like, would I fucking own it or would I not? And I would absolutely own both of these. And Longlegs, you still haven't seen it, right?
No, I have not.
Oh, man. I need you to see it because another shout out to Bloody Essentials podcast. Mm-hmm. We were on there last week. It aired, I believe, just a couple days ago.
Yeah, the 18th.
Yep, we talked about Cloverfield, but Jamie on there had seen Longlegs, and I didn't get a chance enough to talk to her about it because it's just Jamie and Luke are the only people that I know that have seen it.
Yeah.
And I've not really been able to talk to either of them about it. So totally excited for that. But yeah, Bloody Essentials, check them out. Really good podcast. They do events too. They're up towards Chicago, so any listeners up there, they do live trivia nights and stuff like that. So definitely hit them up.
Absolutely. And you know more about it than I do.
Which one? Okay. So this is a little bit different. So the Girls of the Morbid podcast, one of the best podcasts that's out there, one of the most popular podcasts out there, just great true crime shit. In my opinion, probably the best podcast for anything true crime related, in my opinion. Alana, one of the hosts, just released her second book. It's called The Butcher Game. I own The Butcher and the Wren. Great book. Too bad I didn't finish it all. I'm 3/4 of the way, but my schedule gets stupid. The Butcher Game is out now. So it's the second, it's the follow-up book. Getting great reviews. She's got a banner in Times Square, a billboard in Times Square for it.
Wow.
Yeah. This
that's awesome.
This book fucking blew up. It's on the bestseller list.
That's cool.
Great book for any of you readers to check out there. She's just great at storytelling. Absolutely. So, definitely want to shout that one out.
one of the last things for me as far as what's new in horror, something that I was very excited to hear about was two things. First, Apartment 7A is airing September 27th, so soon. It's a precursor to Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
And I am so excited because having read Rosemary's Baby, I kind of have an idea of what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, if you've seen the original Rosemary's Baby, you already know there was some bitch before.
Yeah.
Before Rosemary. And in this case, it kind of goes into more her story and that sort of thing. So I am very excited about it already. If you know the lady's fate at the end, so you know exactly how this whole thing's going to end. She's got to kill herself. And literally the poster for it looks amazing. It's like her almost like Jesus on a cross, but it's her falling. And it's like full on swan dive. And I'm like, that's a really cool poster with the green and the black, silhouette.
That's crazy.
So it harkens back to the original poster. So that's neat. And then I think the second thing that I have to report on as far as new in horror, The Substance with Demi Moore looks amazing. It's a body horror film.
It's getting really good reviews.
It looks awesome. It looks like it's a bit of a throwback film because it's like maybe set in the 90s. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I've been seeing it getting reviewed. I've purposefully not watched any of the reviews or anything like that because I want to be able to. Oh, I assume we're gonna probably episode that one.
I would like to try.
I think it's worth it.
That would be really cool.
I know it's been getting good reviews, but I've ignored them all. Just because I want to give our listeners a fresh input. And one last thing that I thought interesting.
That's fine.
You know that I'm gonna come back to this every single chance I have in order to just throw it at you, and you'll get what I'm saying in a second. So all my nerds out there that play Call of Duty. So they have seasons within the game. Mm-hmm. So they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They release season 6, and some of you may be thinking what does that have to do with anything? So there are horror characters in it.
Oh.
So there's Michael Myers, there's Sam, and I don't know if you can play 1 or 2, but there's Smile 2 characters in there.
Why?
I saw it in the preview and I was like, oh my God, I have to show it.
One of these things are not like the other, and that's the fucking Smile characters. What do they have to do with fucking shit?
I used to play Call of Duty with Mikey a lot, and we've kind of gotten away from it because I don't really have time. So I just saw it through a preview, so I don't know if you can even play as them or if they just pop up in the game.
Oh my God.
And then Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead was in there too. They throw a lot of random people out there, but
you couldn't pick anybody else. You
Smile
literally
too.
You have Beetlejuice that you could have put in there. If I don't know about licensing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to me, it was so Sam is a pretty established character in the horror world now. I mean, it's a newer movie,
absolutely.
But Michael Myers, obviously, one of the Godfathers type thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's another one I'm missing, but then I was just Smile too?
That's strange.
That's
strange,
not even
weird marketing. Get off your high horse, go away.
It's just not on the same level, which just struck me as weird.
And you always gotta hit me with that Smile shit.
I know. Anything that's Smile, I have to.
Well, I'm gonna hate watch
right
it.
Back to it.
All right. One for real this time. Last thing. Because we need to promote it. Kevin Titzer has been doing really great with all of his work with Sack Race with Knives, his documentary. It will actually be showing at Hobnobbin Film Festival in Fort Wayne on Friday, October 4th. During the Arts Got an Art Film Block at 2 p.m. So if you can make it, that'd be awesome. Unfortunately, I know we can't just due to our work schedules, but if you have free time to go out to an art festival or a film festival to support this artist, that would be awesome. Just do whatever you can to support your local artists, and they are doing a great job. They've gotten several awards.
I don't even know how to put it into words. Just so honored to have him as a guest on our show, not discrediting anyone we've had on at all, but just his ability is great. I can't say enough about that film and what Kevin does. Just amazing shit. So do yourself a favor. It's not the longest thing in the world. Go check it out if you can. Absolutely amazing. Can't say enough how much I was impressed by that.
Yeah. We have a guest with us.
We do.
Hello.
that voice may sound familiar.
Yeah, he
Friend of the show, Adrian Sharp.
Yes.
You've been on here several times. Not only are you the ghost host of our amazing announcement. Thank you again for lending your voice talents to that.
Oh, it was all editing. That was what made it. Yeah, maybe it
It
could be
was
done in editing.
very good.
And I've said it when you're not here, but your voice has just a nice, deep, natural tone to it. Very distinct. Can't compliment you enough on your voice. Outstanding.
You don't have to. I hear it in my head all day.
Regular talking voice. But listeners will hear. I mean, he's talking right now. But I've always thought
Appreciate
that.
it.
Great voice.
Well, getting back to what you were mentioning, Rosemary's Baby, though, and I don't know if you're, well, I would assume you'd be familiar with the end scene with the name of the Antichrist character when they're saying "Hail Satan, Hail Adrian."
Yeah,
I've
always had a very soft spot for Mia Farrow and for that just whole thing.
Yes,
that's
I
funny.
forgot
That's
about
right.
that.
They do. It is Adrian because even in the set, there's a second movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes, there's a second movie. There's a second book, and it goes to weird places.
And I do have very hairy hands too.
Yes.
I shaved before I came here.
The success is with us today.
We welcome Harry Hands here at London Cornfields.
But unfortunately, I know Nick was not able to join us.
No,
and some of the other
unfortunately,
band members.
Yeah. So I'm Adrian Sharp. I'm the main singer person for the Brides of Neptune. And then Nick Leatherman plays bass. Aaron Floyd is guitar and does vocals. Matt Puro does guitar and vocals. And our latest bridesmaid anyway, not yet initiated into the mysteries, is Mitch McLean, who was with me years and years ago in a band called Tumbleweed Jumpers. We had some regional success with that.
I didn't realize you were part of Tumbleweed Jumpers.
I think at that time in the early 2000 or 2010s, if you lived in Goshen, you were at some point part of the Tumbleweed Jumpers.
Gotcha.
It's just an initiation.
That was, yeah. I think pretty much everybody was at some time a member of the Tumbleweed Jumpers.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So I guess to start off with, so your name, actually I started saying, but let's go with the name. So,
sure.
Where did that kind of come from? What's the inspiration behind?
Sure. Well, there's a statue of the god Neptune in front of the courthouse in Goshen.
Okay.
And also, I heard stories about people in the Navy having an initiation rite when they crossed the equator that was called the Brides of Neptune, where the people who had not yet crossed the equator would have to dress up in drag, and then there was this whole ceremony where the captain would dress as Neptune, and they would have these whole bizarre things. It was very. I don't know if it was in the U.S. Navy, but it was in the British Navy for a long time.
Interesting.
That's pretty interesting.
So I like ritual and I like pageantry and that sort of thing, and I thought that it was kind of an interesting. I mean, we don't really have any nautical associations other than just the name of that. The same that Goshen has no real nautical associations other than the statue in front of the courthouse.
A little bit of landlocked. I mean, there's some water around there, but
yeah.
So how many years has the band existed?
Oh my goodness! So we started in the spring of 2016. So we've been around a very, very long time, and it's wonderful. I mean, I've been in groups before. In the almost now distant past, where we had quite a few disputes, and there was a lot of disputes.
As one does with bands, local bands.
You get artists togeter, true artists together, and you're bound to get conflict.
Yeah, and there can definitely get a lot of, I had quite a bit of an ego in those days, which was silly. But yeah, so in this one, it's wonderful because we've really never had any kind of argument. We've kind of gone through phases here and there where it was just sort of like, I'm sort of bored with this, or I want to try this or that, but it's never been anything where we were having like disputes and stuff. It's actually really beautiful. It's like an oasis in my life for years. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you all form the band? Like, how did you all meet?
Sure.
Yeah, and you said it was initially formed in 2016.
Yeah. So it was. I was playing at at this sort of not an open mic thing, but a very small sort of folk event associated with First Fridays. It was in the old art house theater, the Black Box. Mm-hmm. And then there were other acts, and one of them was Aaron Floyd and Matt Piro playing and doing singing and doing these really interesting harmonies and stuff. And I was like, oh, we could maybe do something. And they had very similar sort of interests musically, and it really worked out. And we had Aaron and I have a very similar sense of humor too, so that was very helpful.
That's always good.
We'll say the absolute like filthiest things to each other, and a lot of the rest of the band are just sort of shaking their heads and try to out. It's a lot of yes-anding with
That's funny. Nice.
Band stories are some of the best stories.
Yeah.
Like, I have some of the most random horseshit stories ever. Band stories. All of them are band stories. They're fucking hilarious. Just absolutely hilarious.
So why folk music? Why was that a draw for your band? And also, just genuinely, what genuinely draws you to that particular genre for folk music?
Well, I like the accessibility of it. It was sort of, in a way, sort of the punk rock times where the distance between the artist and the audience was negligible and sometimes non-existent. And I really liked the accessibility of it, and I could get my point across in guitar, but I was never particularly a great guitar player. And there were some great folk guitarists, obviously, but there were many who were very specific in how they could play, and that was me. I can do sort of a finger picking style that's very specific, and outside of that, I'm a bit of a struggle. I liked sort of sometimes there'd be just sort of out of nowhere very dark themes that would come into the across sort of the catalogs of some of the performers that you're just not expecting, about murder and about the devil and about drug abuse and all sorts of things that I think that we get a very sanitized kind of pop infused version from what was passed down through the 60s and through these sorts of even Bob Dylan and Joan Baez and that kind of idea. It seems a bit more sanitized than what they would have encountered or what would have been encountered in previous generations of it. It was not often family friendly, or it was sort of different sort of families, I guess, in those days. But like people had different mindsets and different taboos and different things. And I loved also how the songs can have ancestors where you can trace them and see that they have. There was a mixture of this aspect with that aspect. So St. James Infirmary is one that has like this very big provenance, and it sort of reaches through a lot of different songs, even in popular music, probably even today. That we don't always see the influence that it has, but it's very deep. And I don't know. I thought I was getting back to a source that very much interested me.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense considering, the topics that your band has. Yeah. Very like kind of macabre and religious topics. So let's go on with a couple examples. You have a song about Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes, yeah.
You have a song about Hobart Freeman. Hence, you were on, the first episode when we talked about Hobart Freeman. You have a song about Santa Muerta that recently came out.
Yeah.
And then you also have a song about Gigi Allen. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So that one was based on the old John Henry song, and there's so many different versions of that. And then we took the one that was, I think was it Townes Van Zandt, or was it there was someone else who did a cover, and then we sort of mixed that cover with some other elements from different versions of the song and sort of put it together and made it, instead about John Henry, with the steam drill and everything, it was about Gigi Allen overdosing, as he's watching the rising sun. And,
yes.
And how it references his funeral as well, how they, buried him sort of covered in filth with the Walkman on and the bottle by his side.
Yeah. such like a unbelievable character. Like, I've always thought, how much I would love to describe and talk about Gigi Allen to someone who has no idea who he was or anything, because it sounds so unbelievable. Yeah. It sounds like, that's the only thing I can describe. Unbelievable that someone would, do some of the things that he would do, but then also like he had purpose in his own way for the things that he was doing.
It was a weird way, but
that's why I say
a reason.
in his own way,
Absolutely, yeah.
But just fascinating.
Well, then it was done intentionally in bad taste. There's a story about John Waters, and when I think it was at Cannes Film Festival, he had Pink Flamingos. It was there,
nice,
and it was the first time the French had encountered something like that, where they couldn't figure out how to deal with a thing that was done intentionally in bad taste.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
go for it. No, say what you're gonna say, because I have something I want to say.
Just, Pink Flamingos is a movie that is not horror related that pops up because, of course, I have my story I've told about Mikey and all that. Quick rundown. First time I watched Pink Flamingos, it was with my best friend Blake, the one that's inspired this podcast and everything.
Sure, great.
So we didn't really know what it was because when we watched Pink Flamingos when it first came out, we had no idea. I think we just heard whispers. The movie was weird.
Yeah.
So we watch it and we're just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, we're probably 13.
Oh, bother. Where were your parents?
Me and Blake ran shit. We ran shit. So we were probably about like 13 or 14, maybe 15. And
I was like 28 and it was terrible.
So, we're kind of like, what the fuck? And we're like, we're kind of into it, but like, oh, this is so off the wall. And it comes to the part where the guy, I don't remember how, but he's like playing with his asshole.
Oh, surfing bird.
Yeah.
So
we pause it and we back it up a little bit, just a little bit. And we call my friend Mikey over. And once he's coming in, we hit play. So when he walks in, that's the scene that's playing on the TV. And we're like 14 doing this. We were some rad 14-year-olds.
I would say absolutely rad.
That's Mikey's first view or anything of that movie too was that scene. So it's just fucking beautiful that we did that. I'm so thankful we did that.
When I saw it was at Art House Theater. This would have been years and years and years ago.
Oh, I actually remember when they were
I want to watch it again because the only time I've seen it, and I just remember bits and pieces that like tripped me out then, and it's like I want to watch it now to be like how
we should do it next Pride Month and have Helen on.
The chicken scene is still pretty rough.
The dog shit at the end.
That's still pretty rough.
That's a lot to watch.
Yeah.
Some of the divine things. The eggs mama part's really haunting. It's really haunting.
See, I have a hard time believing that the French did not understand bad taste because they literally have in their myths or in their history the Marquise de Sade. Don't fuck with me and don't tell me that you don't know about 120 Days of Sodom. That is all bad taste, or as it's known as Salo. Are you familiar?
No,
it's
and I feel like I'm okay that I'm not familiar.
That's probably
I feel like I'm okay.
He was at Bastille, or he had just gotten released from Bastille when they stormed it. He was like yelling to the crowd to free the prisoners. I think they waited until he was out of there so they didn't have to deal with the Marquis de Sade.
they were done with him.
Don't touch those candles. You don't know where they've been.
Pretty much.
I love that rabbit hole we just went.
Oh, love that.
Absolutely.
That was
very good.
So tell us about the instruments that y'all use. How did y'all get started in using those specific instruments?
Sure, yeah. So it's pretty standard stuff. I've been doing just vocals and some pretty poor harmonica work. Well, I mean, it's functional. It's not great. You're not gonna jump up and down and just be amazed at my harmonica skills, but I'm really fortunate to have such wonderful musicians around me. Matt Piro is very, very good, especially like folk guitar. He can do like slide guitar things that are very rare skills that I'm amazed sometimes the first time that I heard him playing a Dinks song. It's not a slide guitar song, but the way that he was able to get the complex rhythms in it, everything was just like I'd never seen somebody do that in real life that wasn't like on some crazy stage.
Big tour.
Yeah, for real.
Wow.
Like just someone at that level. And it was really remarkable. Nick Leatherman has been in the group for he joined about 6 months after we started. We sort of met him playing at a wedding. And I was just he was playing a stand-up bass, and I thought that would be a wonderful thing to have. And I'd known him around a little bit here and there, but he's been wonderful. He's very like quiet. He's the only member that doesn't sing, and he insists on not singing in anything. But maybe we'll break him one of these days.
He's in a couple other bands. He
is the bass player in basically every band in Goshen, I think.
Okay, sweet. I was gonna say I've seen him in a lot of other things.
Oh yeah. I don't think he was ever in Tumbleweed Jumpers, though. That was one that he wasn't. But Mitch McLean, who's the most recent person to join, he's been playing drums. We didn't have a drummer for years and years and years. We sort of...
you kind of had some in and out, didn't you?
Yeah, we flirted with a few different people, but it never really worked out for various reasons. Sometimes a lot of it was scheduling. Sometimes it was other things. It was generally scheduling. Yeah, with this, he's very enthusiastic about it. He hasn't played drums in a group before, so he's kind of excited, and it's sort of learning it, and it's really beautiful. And we worked together. We always saw eye to eye in Tumbleweed Jumpers, and we've been friends for a long time. I've known him for more years than I think either of us would like to admit. So,
awesome.
Well, that's cool. I know we've seen. I think Aaron played with the washboard a couple times, and I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I used to do that in Tumbleweed. She's been doing it in this. She has a little different setup though, with it, but with like a tin can, and I think she really likes the "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" kind of vibe of it. So sort of Depression era things, and a lot of our promo art we've done sort of Depression era look, which fits fairly well with the style of music. I like to joke, like we have all of our recordings on Spotify. I joke that we try to just record the bad ones. No, we have some stuff I'm pretty proud of, and then some stuff I'd like to take another crack at sometime. That's the problem with recording anything is just as soon as you do it, you're like, oh well, I wish I would have done everything different.
You critique the hell out of it.
Oh, 100%, and some of that is warranted, and some of it is not warranted.
Yeah.
I'm always it's difficult for me to listen to my own stuff. I recently went to the beach with she was a dear friend and a former girlfriend. She's a touring musician, Anna Pasquarello, and I was like, oh, we can take out the Bluetooth and listen to some of your music. She's like, oh God, please don't. I was like, we'll do it to your music. I'm like, no, don't do that.
That's understandable. I mean, hell, there's even times where, like, I don't even want to listen to the podcast. I'm like, I don't want to hear my voice.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to listen to me.
No, I totally understand, because in the beginning I used to listen to it all, and now, because I check to make sure vocals are active and levels are good. So, like, on the day of release, I skim through it. Yeah. Like every 5 minutes I go forward to just make sure that everything's still good. So I don't listen to it even anymore, because it's just like... hearing your voice is different.
It's so weird. And it's like, and there's also like the couple times where it's like, you can almost predict exactly what you're going to say. Yes, you said it earlier, but even if you let's say we record an episode like years ago, we come back to it, or at least I want to re-listen to something, or to catch myself up to date, or maybe reference something. And then I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I don't remember saying that, but it happened. It was a weird thing.
So something I really want to do.
Okay.
that I've been working on, I've been plotting for years, and it has not yet panned out. With the Goshen Historical Society, with or without them, I shall do this.
Okay. All right.
So what I want to do is a Goshen Spooky Time Ghost Tour. Probably not this year, but I was hoping sometime, whatever, where it would be stops along places where had been murders, where there had been all sorts of different things going on.
Yes.
There are several spots throughout the town where there were some wild things that occurred over the years. But even at local businesses, so the final stop of it would be at Elephant Bar, what is now Elephant Bar, used to be the Dewdrop Inn. Journey with me to the magical land of 1970, to the winter of 1970, and there were frequent fights there all the time. It was a very hard, working class bar in those days. It's certainly softened up in recent years.
Definitely.
I am totally on board to support or help
That
or
sounds
do in any
fun.
way. So when I travel to different cities, I do those tours.
Yeah.
My destination stops. I want to do Salem.
Of course.
I want to go to Salem, New Orleans.
Savannah's very good too.
Savannah, I didn't do, but I've been to Savannah.
Garden of Good and Evil, yeah.
And I want to do St. Augustine, the oldest city in
I've done
the United
the
States.
tour in Augustine. I've done the tour in Savannah. That was like, maybe you really want to do it here.
Ooh,
Yep.
that's
So
cool.
at Elephant Bar, there was a guy who he was stabbed like to death, and he fell down on this. So on the back of the bar, there's these two dartboards, but at the time there were stairs that went up to the second level. So he was just like slouched over on the steps. It was dead of winter, so he had this like thick coat on. People thought he was just drunk and passed out, and because it was the kind of bar where people just lay around drunk and passed out.
Yeah.
Dead.
Damn.
So they like knocked him, he just fell over, and they're like, oh my god. So he'd been stabbed to death, and I think the guy got away that done it too. Like there had been a dispute, and they thought he just punched him or something. I don't know.
No.
That's cool. Yeah. Hopefully there's enough spots like
That would be cool.
spread out.
There's something that happened at the old jail, which I think part of that is still standing, right across the street from the courthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an exciting kind of thing that I've gone to in most of the cities that I try to go to, and I was thinking if we could do that like here, especially if we could get it to go back all the way to like right, before the settlement or right at the settlement.
That would be cool.
That would be. I heard that there was a native village that is near where St. John's Church is.
Oh, okay.
But that's all that they know
we'd
is.
have to see if we could like get a hold of someone that has like an open face like tour bus thing. Where you like sit in and you can direct and shit.
We thought we'd do
that's
like
what you ride on.
like a horse-drawn thing.
Oh, that would be cool.
All clip clop, and you're doing this.
That would be cool.
A crisp fall evening and all that.
That'd be so badass.
Yeah.
I did one in Key West.
Yeah.
That was fucking great.
What's that doll?
Robert the Doll. I saw him. I have a video.
Did you take a picture with him?
So I have a whole story.
Yeah.
Was that on an episode?
That was on the episode where we talked about like scary stories with Earl.
Oh yeah.
And it was the kid episode.
Yeah, and then I presented it. I presented it at a live event in Linglab. But basically, I met Robert, and I first met. So where Robert's at, you round the corner in a museum, and you head down, and it's like it's an open space, but it's kind of like a hallway, kind of.
Okay.
It's long, so there's things on each side.
Sure.
And then Robert's in the middle. So when I first stepped over that threshold, immediately got the sensation of being lightheaded to where like I don't know. I've been knocked in the head a lot. I do stupid shit, played sports. So when you get knocked out, a lot of times you'll have that sensation, and then the blackness comes. So. No blackness, no sense of passing out, just immediate head rush. It's the only way I could really describe it. And there's like all the writings on the wall of people that, have not asked for his permission because you're supposed to ask for permission if you do video or pictures, whatever.
Is there a certain like thing that you're supposed to say specifically?
No, just, hey, Robert,
Can I get a picture?
I would like to be able to take a picture of you, blah, blah. So he's notorious for shutting down electronics. At the gift shop, when you come in and pay, they'll tell you that. And then he likes to play tricks, and he's a trickster. I have a Robert the Doll book, actually, if you would like to read it sometime.
What does Robert look? Because I've heard like the Annabelle, the actual Annabelle is not.
So no, Annabelle's Raggedy Ann.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annabelle, like, I don't know, but I know that a lot of
Robert
people
looks legit like a haunted doll.
Yeah, so Robert is like a sailor, like a little sailor doll, and then he has a bear.
Yeah, a little sailor boy.
The doll has a doll.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I could go into the actual story about Robert. I could talk about an hour and a half for this. But anyway. So, go to Robert, and I say, hey, Robert, my name's Mark. I would love to be able to take a video of you. If you do not want that, you have my permission to shut my, my phone down or do whatever. And so I pull my phone out. I hit the camera button, and my phone does not even populate the camera. It freezes.
Oh.
It freezes.
Freaky, man.
And it freezes so bad that I can't even restart my phone. So I have to go away from Robert. And there's two girls that we don't know that were just like, kind of hanging out. And I told them like, hey, this shit just happened. I'm like, look at my phone. And they're like, oh my God, no. And they left. So I was like, nah, fuck that. So I left, walked like maybe 30 feet away, restarted my phone, and then came back. And I said, was like, hey, Robert, it's Mark again. That was a great trick. That was kind of cool. I said, I'd like to take a video of you. And the reason why is because I would like to share that with people on my social media so people can learn about you and whatever. And so I pull out my phone. Good to go. Filmed it. Yeah. And so they have a creepy little chimey song playing.
Of course.
And they have self-accounts of people that did not heed his warning and not ask for permission, and some terrible shit happened. Also, and I forget the name because it's just right off the top of my head, there's another famous murder that happened with a guy who kept his wife like stuffed or like taxidermied or something in there.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Listeners, I'll do a little bit of research because I forget. I know the murder because I've seen it on something and I was like, that's the Key West thing. I'll pull up some of the information on it for maybe the next episode, give you a quick rundown. But yeah, it was weird. The guy ended up keeping his wife for like years or something.
This was in Key West?
Key West, yeah. So you go by Robert's house, you go by the Hemingway house, and then you go by this guy's house. I think he was either like a doctor or a teacher or something. Really, well-established gentleman. But yeah, he did some weird shit. It's creepy, and it's the southernmost point of the United States.
Sure.
Badass Cuban food in Key
I'm
West.
sure.
Cuban
sounds good.
My grandpa was
Coffee.
stationed there during the Korean War. Bravely fought the Battle of Miami.
Ooh, that's cool.
He was in the Navy. He was he got very fortunate because there were a lot of guys that did not get stationed in Key West.
So yeah, I'll pull that info up and I'll probably do like a quick synopsis of that little story because it's interesting.
Ooh, interesting. So let's get back to the interview.
Yes.
This was good.
I love the rabbit holes.
What does the writing and creation process look like for each of your songs? Do you guys typically have sheet music, or do you just do all your rehearsals and then?
Sure, yeah. Well, a lot of times it's using, because it's from the folk tradition. The nice thing with that is that we can sort of steal from a lot of different places and sort of slap it together. So the Santa Muerte song was very much a kind of Weird Al Yankovic take on
Old Country Roads.
Country Roads Take Me Home to the Place Where I Belong. So it was that, but it was making it about a Santa Muerte like sorcerer who dies before he has the chance to repent, and so the demons come to drag him to where he belongs. The demon host comes to take him to hell.
Oh,
and so it's him in that instant realizing that he has not had the chance, that he is does not have the chance to repent of his wicked ways.
Yeah.
And I liked that sort of character. There's a few that sort of is an archetype and really kind of goes back to like the thief on the cross. That's like, we deserve to be here. Whereas the other thief is like, free yourself and us. So it's like the reactions to death of it's like, are you accepting of it, or are you going to try to fight it? And this one is choosing to accept it and realizing like I have worked hard to be in this situation. Like the sufferings, am I going to blame others or am I going to blame me? And he's like, it is completely my fault. Yeah. And I thought that was sort of refreshing and an interesting kind of character to explore with that. So it's a lot of like, there's a lot of drug content, a lot of sort of like occultic imagery in it that ties in with. I'm not familiar with Santa Muerte myself, but enough of I know that it is an occultic kind of thing, and there's a lot of death imagery. So I just sort of superimposed a lot of it. I'm not been initiated into Santa Muerte yet, but I would assume it would be similar to that. At least it was for this song. So the song is not a historical. Don't be like Adrian says this about Santa Muerte. I don't know.
I don't know.
We're saying it's not historically accurate.
No. So
it was fictional, but it was fun, and it's a great song.
If there are any practitioners out there, please don't take it personally.
Do you have a favorite song to perform?
Oh, yeah. I have to think about that. There's ones that are... It really depends on the setting, but I really like the Cannonball one that we do, because there's a lot. We have like, it's a song that we do in like, we'll have maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 different like verses to it, but we have like 40 verses to it that we can pick and choose from. Ooh. So there's like an entire like narrative about like King David and like his like the going for the wife of Uriah, and there's like other stuff about David and Goliath, and there's stuff that's like completely stolen from Iron Maiden. There's things about like the fall of Lucifer and like Babylon, and a lot of, so it's nice because you can pick and choose. Some of the things I stole directly from Leonard Cohen, so it's just sort of this like sort of, what's the word, decoupage of all these different
Oh, is that
ideas.
the one where you do Number of the Beast? You quote that one?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, so the song, I think originally it was, it talks about from Buffalo to Washington, and the cannibal, I think there was some sort of, I think it was the late 1800s, early 1900s. It wasn't the World's Fair, but it was a big event that was going on in Buffalo, and I think that the song was originally like an advertisement for that train, and it became, then lent itself to another song called Railroad Bill, and then that led to a lot of other things. So it has kind of an interesting influence where if you listen to this song, you can hear like how it follows exactly that sort of parentage or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah. And that is something, I mean, that's true in any kind of music or movies where you can see that, oh, you got this from this and this from this. Mm-hmm. Things don't come out of nothing, at least good things. There's a reason why nobody's tried it before. There's a reason nobody's done that before.
So do you have a favorite venue to play at?
And do you have any stories?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I've always loved Ignition. It's sort of gone through a bit of an evolution over the years, but we were the first band to play when they opened it back up after COVID.
Okay,
nice.
And cool. And it was wonderful. I mean, it was a lot of people. We were opening for a band called the Steel Wheels.
I was there.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes, because Luke got tickets.
Oh, wonderful.
I was there.
So I didn't have the courage to do this joke, but I was going to find the singer of the Steel Wheels and said like, so when you say, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am stuck in the middle with you, is the clown Bob Dylan? Because my mom loves that song. You're Steelers Wheel, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a song by Steelers Wheel, and I was gonna pretend like I was completely confused and thought that we were opening for Steelers Wheel.
That's funny.
I didn't have the balls to do it though. Yeah. So that's probably like the better angels of my nature saying, "Don't do that."
Don't do that.
Because if I could have kept a straight face and really made them hate me, that might have been a great thing. Like, can't wait I'm really excited for Steelers Wheel. I hear they're not going to play the song, though. They're not going to play Stuck in the Middle.
So has there been any, like, venues that have just been weird or just different that you've ever played at that just, like, this doesn't quite fit us, but we'll give it a shot?
There have been a few, like, some, like, house show things that we did where it was
Those are fun. It
usually goes well. There have been a few, I won't go into detail, but there have been a few sort of things that was just very confusing. There was one, though, that... We were playing at a festival. I won't say the name of the festival, but it is a Goshen festival. And we realized that we were playing basically for a bunch of children and elderly women. I don't know what the event had to do with that, but an elderly lady came up and was very upset that all of our songs were about death and the devil. And I was like, I didn't book us, And,
yeah.
At the time, we felt that it was kind of like that was pretty funny, but and it still sort of is. But at the same time, I'm like trying to be a lot more conscious of like where we're playing and that it ought to be like appropriate places, because that's the thing. It's not just like a regular sort of band where you can do this, so that it's very, very much like a show and a very artistic kind of thing, and has a lot of dark elements to it. Where if you listen to the lyrics, it'd be like, "Mommy, what's that?"
Right.
Could maybe be some conversations that aren't quite there.
Did you have a song about a stripper?
Yeah. That was I wrote it for another ex but current great friend. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Current wonderful friend, and it was great. She said it was about she had been a dancer in Phoenix, Arizona, and before she came out here to go to Goshen College, and she was telling me some stories about the life, and and I sort of wrote this based on another song, which is called "No More Auction Block" for me. So it's going to take a dark turn, but it was about someone who had escaped slavery, and I saw this as she'd had not the worst experiences in it, but it was clearly this is a very exploitative and a very, I'm sure that there are people who have had wonderful experiences, but I would say dehumanizing experience. And so I was I was sort of putting those two ideas together, and sort of the person standing like naked on the block or whatever, and just saying that no more. And the song, it sounds kind of absurd. It's like no more, make it rain on me, no more, no more private dance for me. But it does have a darkness behind it, and the message of I'm leaving this life, and I really hope that this time I mean it.
Yeah, that it sticks.
Yeah, because you could tell that the character has tried in the past and has gone back to it. Yeah, so she had said that there were guys who had written songs for her before, but that was the only one that she actually enjoyed.
Oh, that's cool.
Liked it because of the message was so different than "Oh, you're so pretty" or something like that. It was more about you as a person and this really sort of hard journey that you're making.
Yeah. And I only brought up that song.
So, no, you're fine.
Because, and I laugh because there was one time Luke was telling me he happened to, catch a performance. I wasn't able to make it. And there was a little kid at that exact song goes up and puts $1 in your tip jar.
You earned that dollar. Yes.
Thankfully, I've repressed that memory.
That was like the most perfect timing.
Well, and we would play at like Goshen Brewing Company and stuff like that, usually in the wintertime because we do folk sort of things, so it's a lot quieter. When they try to do in the hall there, where they try to do like a full band with a kid and everything, it can be kind of much. You know? It's not really a good space for that, and especially when it's like dark and everything. So they kind of like to have us play there at that time. And I always try to scan to make sure that there aren't like a bunch of children running around. Like, I don't want to have to open the door to conversations you're not ready for. So, and there'll be songs like that were explicitly about one is about Matahari, who was a sort of a convicted spy during World War I, and it's from the point of view of the captain of the guard who's leading to have her executed. So I raised my pistol, and Matahari fell down. She just fell right down and died. It talks about him like getting into drugs and everything after that, just because he's haunted by the image of like he killed this person.
I always told Luke I would love to have your version of Dead Flowers playing at my funeral.
And I would like to have your funeral played at my version of Dead Flowers.
Because it was just like, I remember the first time that I saw you, my husband and I were just started dating.
Oh, okay.
And I think I have a video somewhere on my phone of like the very first time I saw you guys play.
Hopefully.
And I just really was just attracted to your stage presence and just how the band just worked really well together, and you guys were just really melding in folk music. And first off, I didn't really want to go because folk music wasn't for me.
I understand.
I was this metalhead, and I was just like, I don't want to go to this, Luke. I really don't. And then he's like, I think you'll like this one. And so I did. I was like, this is incredible. This is awesome. And Luke and I have been a fan ever since. We always try to catch a show if we ever have the chance to catch a show. And I just remember Dead Flowers was one of them, and it was the first time I had actually heard that song.
Oh, so you thought we wrote it? I'm like, I wrote this for just now.
I thought this was the first time that I heard this. It's like, oh, that's so beautiful. And I was like, will you do that for me, Luke?
Play your dead. Yeah, well, let's do it in the car on the way home.
and also just like the act of putting dead flowers on my grave. Like, I just think that's sweet. I love that. I like getting dead flowers already as like a Valentine's Day gift.
Okay, so do you get them from the ones from like left over from things or?
From like funerals?
Yeah.
There's sometimes
Do you think they're haunted?
No.
Okay.
No.
You have enough experience. You don't think they're haunted?
No. I think the weirdest thing that I ever had happen like after a funeral was my first ever baby's funeral.
Okay.
And they had done a balloon release out in the cemetery, and it was like winter, it was cold, not very much wind.
Okay.
It was like kind of a still day. They released balloons, and I was like, okay, well, that's real sweet, and that sort of thing. Well, the cemeteries was quite far away. But literally as soon as I pulled up in the hearse later to, when we were done with everything, there was a green balloon that just drifted. And it was, I swear to God, it was this balloons from the... I'm like, how did that get here? Like, it wasn't attached to anything. There wasn't really wind. I was just like, that's a little freaky.
A little creepy.
I think that's the only kind of out of the ordinary experience I've ever had at the funeral home.
I go to the cemetery on the one on the north side. I found out with my friend Ariel, but it's interesting. I have always had a fear of them, and I think that sort of like attracts me to it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like she's a bit more laissez-faire in her approach to these things, because she was like, there was this one that had like the outline of like the coffin on it, in like marble, cool. And she like went to lay down. I'm like, don't do that. She's like, why? I'm like, you're gonna get haunted.
You're gonna get haunted.
Like,
girl, don't.
You don't want that. You don't want that. And she's like, whatever. You're superstitious.
There's a part of me that like I kind of.
And she really changed after that. She was never the same. She wanted me to start calling her Alan and said that she was a man.
Like, I agree with that. Like, I'm not necessarily superstitious in a way, but don't do that. That's somebody's grave. Like,
I'm just kidding. I don't think she was possessed by the ghost of G.G. Allen.
Okay. Do you have any future projects that you're currently in the works?
Well, we'll be playing at, just with things in general, we'll be playing at Elephant Bar in Goshen on November 2nd. I think that we will be, it'll be a bill with, the Righteous Few, which we played with them before, but I think this time we're going to be the second act, and they'll be the first act.
Okay.
And we're playing at the Rocky Button. It doesn't have a time. I would assume get there at 7. So I'm going to say 7 p.m. Doors at 7 p.m. on October the 11th. Yes. And that'll be at Rocky Button in South Bend. So I'm kind of excited for that one.
That's a nice little venue. They just changed it up recently.
I haven't been there, and I've heard it's a cool spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. South Bend's got a lot of really cool spots, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for your event coming up at Lang Lab.
Yeah.
We played there with a few people, a few different acts. Oh God, it was probably maybe 18 months ago. It was nice.
Wow.
It's a lot bigger than I was expecting. Like, just like it's a lot, like there's the main performance area, and then there's like this whole like bar restaurant thing.
Around the corner and stuff.
Yeah.
Even the stage is like decent size, because we got up in there and performed for the variety show for one of Steve's variety shows and stuff. I got up there and told some stories. It's
big.
I'm looking forward to it.
I saw the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band there. They were fantastic.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds cool.
They're from Brown County, and just the the stage presence. That guy's like a shaman. It's amazing.
Sweet.
It's amazing to see that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm excited for your event coming up. That'll be great.
Do you have any other not necessarily performances, but do you have any future songs or albums that you're going to be releasing? I know you released the recent one.
Yeah, we're trying to get something out about every 6 months or so. So we have some things that we're going to be recording. We have one that's about John F. Kennedy, but he's in the underworld. So he's just been assassinated, and he goes and visits the Parkland Memorial Hospital and sees like Jackie and everyone standing over his body, and I looked so good, so cold, so fair. Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's really, I'm excited for that one, and it's to the tune of St. James Infirmary, which I think is going to be really good. People have used that tune for a lot of different things, but I'm excited for it. It talks about like him going, with the horse pulling the cortege or whatever down the street, and
that's so cool.
And like the brothers carrying the casket, and not one of them's coming back, because they all sort of died these tragic ways.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's cool. I'm excited to hear that. You always got some good stories.
Well, I hope so, and I think it's going to turn out all right. It does drag a bit, so we're trying to find ways of making it a lot more kind of like compelling as it goes. But that's one that I'm really excited is going to be a good one. I think I'm not sure if it's going to be a live song, but it's a very good just one to sort of sit around and think about. So,
very cool.
Which I love songs like that.
More murder ballads, please.
I think so. Well, this is a pretty famous murder ballad, then.
This would be... That's true.
Yeah, JFK is about as famous as it gets.
When it comes to murder. Yeah.
Well, we thank you again.
Thank
so
you.
much,
This is
Adrian,
wonderful.
for being
Always
on
good to
the
see
show.
you.
Yeah, you know, you're always welcome here. It's always fun.
And I need to hear more about this storytelling project Goshen thing. We need to make that a reality.
100%.
Like, I totally think that could be like a podcast partner up with you type thing.
Wonderful.
I think we'll have to like lay out the story, lay out the stops, then find a company or someone that either has a carriage or some sort of vehicle.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll be, smooth sailing.
Yeah. And I think making it like a fall spooky time
it has to be fall.
And we would try maybe doing it like a few times. And then if it works, we can maybe extend the season or whatever with it. I have dreams of being like a tour guide. And
I could see you doing it. You got the voice for it.
Yeah, I totally could. Like
dressing up in some like ridiculous like Victorian costume or something. It doesn't have anything to do with it, but just do it.
Yeah, I could be the creepy dude that gets the door for everybody. I would dress up in whatever. You dress me up in whatever the fuck you want.
I think that might be like my if I was to just like if everything that I do in life just sort of falls apart, I would just try to find some way of getting into a haunted small like tourist town sort of thing, and then just become a ghost tour guide.
That would be really cool. You'd be really good at it. Like I could just see you just like walking the people in the room and doing that laugh of yours.
Yes.
I thought there was two of me there for a second. That was eerie.
Sweet. Yeah. No, I'm totally down for that. That's something we'll have to kind of like. We'll help you in any way.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
I don't think it's going to be able to be on such short notice this time around. But
probably not. But
honestly, though, if we could get story together and get it investigated, we could just do an informal thing with maybe like 15 people. Honestly, we could probably get that together. So if any of your listeners are interested in that, we could probably do something small that would be a walk that would be just downtown stuff. Maybe 4 or 5 stops.
Oh, yeah.
And then we could end it at the Elephant Bar where there is a ghost.
Oh,
so with the one I was telling you about, the stabbing, and there's a few other crazy stories. A guy falling through the ground right in front of the entrance to the bar.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. The dewdrop did drop down.
Even if it was a walk, we could take like volunteers to dress up in something and just kind of stand and maybe like hold a candle at the spot.
That would be cool.
Walk up.
I'm hoping that there is something associated with the Masonic Temple. I think that would
make sense.
That would be a wonderful little, and even if there isn't, maybe having that as like a spot where we do some stuff, that'd be great. Yeah. I don't know. We're just dreaming now.
Yeah, no, but these are good. We're putting it out there, putting it out to the universe and anybody else. Yeah, come on, help us out.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much. It was wonderful talking with you guys.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. With that being said,
look out for each other and good night, cellar dwellers. Bye. Bye.